Hey guys, Kevin here, and I'm live again, just like I did yesterday. If you notice, I just got back from the gym, and then I'll start work in a few minutes. Let me just prepare the stuff. I prepared a few lessons that I'd like to share with you. So, I'm going to talk about the different types of call center jobs. I'm also going to talk about how to pick a call center company. Connection is weak. That doesn't sound good. Um, I'm also going to talk about two tips on how to get hired in a call center that everybody ignores. And I'm going to give you some additional tips, and I'm going to answer your questions. So if you have a question, just leave a comment, and I'll do my best to answer. If you've missed this live broadcast, you can just leave a comment at any point, or you can send me a message if you're a very shy person. Anyway, so if you're wondering, some people they ask me like, what does my day look like now that I don't work in a call center anymore? So usually I wake up and then I go to the gym, I do my part-time job, and then I come back and then I start my other job, which is freelancing. I have like different clients. Some of my clients hire me to write for their websites, and then some clients hire me to assist in their business. So anyway, hi to the two of you that are watching at the moment. So I guess this time of the day, there's not a lot of people. I'm also curious, what time would Oh, hi Christine. Yesterday I did a live video on how to be regularized in a call center company. I would recommend that you watch that. But just to give you, well, since you're here, just to give you a quick summary, if you want to get regularized in the call center that you're working for, make sure that you avoid people who are bad influence. So people who drink all the time, people who people who borrow money from you, people who don't follow the rules of the company. You only spend time with your team leader. You spend time with top agents, like people who perform well at work. If they perform well at work, you should be learning from them. So make sure that you have the right crowd when you are trying to get when you're trying to get regularized, because like people with bad habits and people who perform poorly, they're gonna pull you down. So if if like they notice that you're excelling or you're doing well in your work, then they're gonna say things that will make you feel bad. And that's very common. Like when I was in training at one point, because I was practicing my English, I do my best to answer in English all the time. And then the person's like, wala ka naman sa call, hindi ka nagtatagalog, or like you're not on a call and you're not speaking in Tagalog. Um, then it kind of ruins your moment. It ruins your day. So my suggestion is you avoid bad people or bad influences, because they're gonna pull you down. So you always need to look for people who will pull you up, and these people are hard to find. But the most accessible ones are generally your boss, your team leader, the person in charge of you, and the trainer. Okay. So I talk about that more in the previous video, so please go watch it when you have time. So for this video, I'm just going to talk about the different types of call center jobs and how to pick a call center company. So Christine, if you're currently hired in in a call center at the moment, I recommend that you stay on, because I'm going to talk about something really important about your job. So I'm not gonna stay long. My work's gonna start in a bit. So the first one, types of, can you see this? Types of call center jobs. So the first one is customer service. The second one is tech support. The third is sales. I'm gonna talk about each one and like what traits, what kind of work you're gonna do, and what traits give you an advantage. Okay. So the first one is customer service. Customer service is simply taking in customers' requests and then processing them. So in a lot of cases, the customer is going to call you, they have a question or they have a problem, and then you're going to give them the solution, or you're going to give them the information. So examples of customer service involve billing. Billing is like one of the most common. So like if you work for a bank or if you work for a telephone company or a cable company, they're going to call you, they're going to ask about their bill. Like sometimes they have questions about their bill, and then you're going to answer the questions. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. And then you're like, if they have other questions, they need help. Usually it's another department that takes care of that. You're going to transfer the call. So, people who work in so in a lot of situations, people who are really patient with others, they're really good in customer service. And customer service people are people who like generally just are pretty happy, they're not offended easily. Thanks for the likes. And that's pretty much it. And so for tech support is a lot like customer service, except you need to be a little more detailed because you're going to give out some step-by-step instructions to the customer. And if you're doing tech support, it's really important that you try to avoid difficult words. Okay, so like instead of saying things like modem, you can say like the black box or the box that our company provided or something like that. Make things easier. If you use like advanced words or difficult words, then you're going to give the customer a hard time. And in tech support, you need to be patient and you need to expect that the customer doesn't know anything you're talking about. So you need to explain it to them. Like you're trying to explain to a kid, even if you're talking to an old person. Because the reason the customer is calling you is because they don't know the answer, and it's your job to provide them with the answer. And then finally, I'm going to talk about sales. Now, sales is one of my favorite jobs because sales usually have the opportunity to earn more money than like the other jobs. So if your account has some sales, yeah, sure, there will be quotas. Quota is simply just counting the number of sales that you made, or counting the amount of money that you've helped your company made. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing scary about that. Some people find that intimidating, but it's just a fact of life. Like when you're doing sales, there's nothing magical about it. There's nothing that you really need to worry about, because in a lot of situations, sales usually involve something they call the pitch. And what is the pitch? The pitch is simply asking the customer if they want to buy, or if they want to buy today. So like if you're talking to the customer, you could just find out what they're interested in, find out what's important to them, and then just tell them about the offer. Like, Mr. Customer, we have this offer, and if you take this offer, you're gonna get all these benefits, and I'm pretty sure that you're gonna be happy with it. Would you like to take it today? That's it. Or would you like to bring this home today? Or would you like me to place an order for you? I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna do the order. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to fill out a form. I'll take care of it for you. And that's all you need to do with sales. Now, which is the best job of all? Well, whatever it is that you get when you apply, it doesn't matter if you're in customer service, you're in tech support, you're in sales. Each of these jobs will give you an advantage. And then the thing there is, if you move from customer service to sales, tech support, each skill that you learn will help you with the other jobs. So in my last call center job, it's actually a tech support job, but we also did customer service. We also did sales. So we did all three, and they pay more than just a regular job. Okay, so I'm done with types of call center jobs. If you have any questions, just leave a comment, send me a message. Now, the next topic I'm going to talk about is, can you see it? How to pick a company. Yeah, how to pick a company. There are only two things that you need to remember. So if, Christine, if you're still there, if you're currently employed in a company, chances are some of the trainees will tell you that, hey, I heard that there's a better job in this other company. Don't transfer to the other company. So here's the thing. If you're hired in a call center, if the pay is good, if you're like okay with the pay, and then they pay you on time, there's no pay disputes, then you're all good. So you don't have to leave or anything like that, okay? So just make sure that they pay you on time and you're all good. So, because here's the thing. If you work for a reputable call center company, or like a popular call center company or a big call center company, usually they pay on time, like most of them do. And if you've ever worked for a Filipino corporation or a whatever corporation that's small, like in a lot of cases, I'm sorry, no offense, guys, but like Chinese owned or Filipino owned corporations, they usually try to squeeze out the maximum from their employees. So like even the pay, there are pay disputes. They don't pay on time. They sometimes take your benefits. And I've worked for companies like that, and some companies like just close down. So if the company doesn't pay you on time, I would recommend that you consider transferring. And if that begins to happen to the company that you're working for, make sure, the reason I recommend that you always save money, because you want the funds so you can transfer to a better job. Because if you have money, you have the time and you have the resources to look around and find a job that will pay you well. If you don't have the money, then if you're broke and then you look for a job, chances are the first offer that you're gonna get that, because you're in a bad spot. You don't have time to go to another company next week because your funds are low. So that's a really bad situation. And chances are, if you don't have money, it's going to be difficult to find a higher paying job. Okay? And so the most important thing, if the pay is good and they pay on time, stay with that company, learn the skills, become excellent at your job. Because number two, it's only acceptable to transfer if your performance is good. Because if your performance is not good and you transfer to another company, what do you think you're gonna tell the interviewer? So the interviewer is like, oh, I see that you work for this other company. Why did you transfer? And then you're gonna say something nice that you think they want to hear. But that's not what's going to happen. What's going to happen is they're going to ask you about your performance. If you were if you're in customer service, they're gonna try and ask you questions that will make you reveal how good you are as a customer service person. Like, I don't know if that's like good AHT, good customer feedback, whatever metrics that you'll be judged on. If you're in tech support, they're gonna find out. They're going to try to get the information out of you, like, are you patient with the customers? Are you able to give solutions to customers with difficult situations? If you're in sales, how many sales have you made? And whether you have a good experience or a bad experience with a company, you're going to answer these kinds of questions anyway. So might as well have a good experience with the company you're working for. Just be the best person. Um, just a quick story. I pre like in my previous call center job, it was West Corporation, now Alorica. There came a point where I was burnt out with my job. Like I didn't want to go to work anymore, and I've been thinking of quitting, but I'm trying to save money, and I have some obligations that I need to pay for, and I couldn't leave. And then for some reason, I just told myself that, hey man, the reason why you're unhappy with your job is because, like, I read somewhere that successful people, I mean, losers, shit. Let me start over again. So I read somewhere that losers, they blame other people for the bad things that are happening to them. And successful people blame themselves for everything that happens to them. So if you're a loser right now, like if everything bad is going to happen, if everything happening to you right now is bad or you don't like it, guess whose fault that is? It's yours. So I don't really know the full explanation. I don't remember. But the idea is if there's something bad happening to you, chances are it's your fault. You want it. You want it to happen to you. And that's the reason why you have it. So I don't have like, I'm not like super smart to like think like, is this true? Like, what's the proof? And then I just gave it a shot. So Kevin, what's if everything was your fault, how is it your fault? Like if you figure out why it's your fault, then you can do something about it. If you can't figure out why it's your fault, then you can't do anything. So if it's my fault, I can do something about it. If it's not my fault, like if it's someone else's fault, I can't do something about it. You can't change another person. You can't change like your boyfriend. You can't change your girlfriend. Well, you can't change how they think. Like, I guess you can change your girlfriend, you can change your boyfriend, but you can't change how a person thinks. Like, if a person is negative, you can't change that. However, you can change how you respond to these people. So, so I started asking myself, like, if something, if like, if I'm having this bad time at work and everything is my fault, what is this one thing that I'm doing wrong? And then I kept asking myself that question. And then after a while, I figured out the answer. So my question is, why am I unhappy with my job? Why am I burnt out? Like if it was my fault, what would be the reason? And then after weeks of asking myself the question, I ended up with the conclusion that the reason why I'm unhappy with my job is because I haven't been performing well. And in a call center, well, one of the really amazing things about it is that performance in a call center can be tracked, it can be measured, and it's not something that you guess. Like if you work for a normal company, you don't know if you're doing well. You don't know if you're doing poorly. Like when I work for this Filipino boss, if the boss is angry, you're gonna get yelled at. You're gonna experience insults. Sometimes you're not gonna get paid, and I don't really that's really a bad experience. So so you don't know, like how do I know that I'm doing well? No, no, there's no way for you to find out. So in a call center, we have this thing called KPIs, or key performance indicators. These are the things that can be measured. Like, the common KPIs are like attendance. So like if you're on time all the time, no lates, no absence, you're good. And then we have this thing called customer feedback, or what do you call that? VOC, voice of customer, or something like that. So if the customer's happy talking to you, then that's a good point. So they do a survey, they give you like, I'm happy I talked to this agent, you're all good. And then we have AHT, which is how long you talk to a customer. And like if you talk to the customer just enough time, then that's great. If you talk to them for too long, then your score goes down. And then we have this thing, like if you're what else we have this thing called QA is usually just how you follow the script that the company gave you. And that's just it. And like I guess if you're in sales, it's the number of sales that you've made, or the number of good calls that you've had. um, and that's all you need to remember. And and that's it. So if you know that if you're doing well in the job, then it's very easy to find a better job. And I know I've been working since I was 18, and now I'm like, oh shit, I feel old. I'm like 31 now. And so I've been working since I was 18, and I've been like jumping around to different jobs, trying to look for a better opportunity. But um, I usually find an opportunity, but since I'm not too good at the job, uh, the next job that I go to turns out being a bad job fit for me. So and then like, so just this time, I'm not gonna quit this job. Like my last call center job, I made a promise to myself, I'm not gonna quit this job until I get top agent. And I know that you're like tired of seeing this. Hello, top agent. And then there's this other top agent. So I keep this around to remind myself, because sometimes I get depressed and I feel bad, and like I just keep things around to remind me how awesome I am. So yeah, if you're also depressed, look for things that will remind you of how awesome you are. So I've talked too long about that. I'm gonna talk about the other lessons that I'd like to share. So, two tips on how to get hired in a call center that everybody ignores. So, the first, so I've been taking care of the blog callcentertrainingtips.com. So if you haven't gone there, please visit. It has hours and hours of free lessons that I wrote ever since I started writing for the blog. So the reason why I have call center training tips is because, like, as I've told you, I started working since I was 18. That was around 2000 something, 2004, 2005, I guess. And I'm one of the first few people who got exposed to the call center industry. Like in my group of friends, like not in the Philippines, but in my group of friends, like who knows about the call center? It's Kevin. So people ask me like, oh, I'd like to work in a call center. Can you teach me? So I teach them for a few hours. And then after a few hours, they go to a call center, they apply, they fail, I give them more tips, and then they apply, they fail, I give them some more tips, and then they get hired. And just word spread around, and then someone I know who has a lot of money, we started a call center training school. And then like for a few years, we've helped thousands of people get hired in a call center. And like eventually the guy who run the school had to quit because he had to go to the States for some personal reasons. And then like we closed up the school, and he owes me money. And then I decided like, hey, since you left the business and I don't have like you owe me money, I'm gonna try and make it back by posting the lessons online. And I've written a lot of the lessons myself. So anyway, fast forward, I don't know, 7 years later or 9 years later, there are now like 7,000 viewers, 7,000 readers a month on the website, and there's like 5,000 of you here in the Facebook page. And everyone starts their message with me like, "Hi, Kevin, I'm..." Then they say their name, they tell me where they're from, and they tell me that they would like to work in a call center. And then, "Can you give me some tips?" So whenever I receive that message, I reply to that. So if you haven't done so, try sending me a message. I read all the messages that we receive, and sometimes other people are also helping out. So it might be Justin, it might be Miko, it might be Carla, it might be Celine. So there's a whole bunch of people helping out now. And so when someone asks me for tips, you can tell like if the person's following the tips, and you can tell if they won't follow the tips. So these I'm going to talk about the two tips that usually get ignored by people. So the first tip to getting hired in a call center is to practice your English. A lot of people, when I say that, the conversation ends. Like, we talk about like, so I started a conversation. Hey, tell me about you. Where are you from? Where you're what school did you study? Do you have a previous job? Do you have like like what call center do you plan to apply in? Like, do you already have like call centers you want to go to, and so on. So we have this back and forth of questions. And then I tell them like, well, for the tips, the most important thing is you need to practice your English. And then when I say you practice your English, they stop replying. They stop talking to me. And I'm like, "Hey, are you still there?" And I'm like, "Hey, I hope you're doing fine. If you have any questions, I'm just right here." And then I don't hear any reply from them. They stop talking to me the moment I say practice English. Well, guess what? If you want to get hired in a call center, you need to practice your English, because in case you're not aware, a call center job involves you talking to an American or an English-speaking person on the phone 8 hours a day, like nonstop. Well, I guess you have those restroom breaks, you have those 15-minute breaks, and you have an hour of lunch. And then the rest of the day, the rest of the 8 hours, you're going to be talking to an American. So if your English is good, you're going to perform well. If your English is not good, you're not going to perform well. So, like, I'm going to give you more specific tips on how to improve your English. The first one is think in English. So whenever you're thinking, just think in English instead of saying, like, in your mind, that, like, if you're hungry, you don't say gugutom na ako. Instead of doing that, just say just think in English, like, oh, I'm hungry. And everyone talks to themselves, so that's not just because you're a crazy person. Like, everyone does. So when you talk to yourself in English, like, Like when you wake up, tell yourself, "Hey man, good morning," and what are we gonna do today? And like things like that. Like I need to go to the bathroom. I'm gonna drink some water. I'm gonna watch some TV. I'm gonna read someone's blog. And see, like every time I talk about uh, practicing in English, people stop watching or people stop talking to me. But like for you who are still watching, well, this is for you. You're awesome, and you're gonna get hired in the call center. So I'm just gonna go a little closer so we could talk properly. And if you don't like looking at me, just look away, listen to my voice because yeah, these lessons are useful. So the first one, like I said, think in English. The second is listen to an interview. Now, it make sure that the interview's English. So as for recommendations, I don't know those CNBC talk shows like Jay Leno, Conan O'Brien, not Jerry Springer. What's this other guy? I don't know, like like he's a Manny Pacquiao fan. I forgot his name, but like all these interviews, and if you don't have like that, I recommend I have some podcast recommendations. So a podcast is like an interview or a talk show that happens on the internet, and you can download it and listen to it. I listen to a lot of podcasts. Like this, a podcast is one of the most amazing things that we have, and you can teach yourself, you can educate yourself. If you didn't finish college, you can become smarter just by listening to podcasts. Like it's like hanging out with really smart people. And I recommend hanging out with people who are smarter than you so you can become smarter yourself. Okay. So the third one is the saucy mode. So I have a tip about that on callcentertrainingtips.com. Please go ahead and visit and read the full thing. But here's a summary. A lot of times we complain about people who are really good in English. We call them like social, maarte. We call them all these things. And so Filipinos are the most hard to please people on the planet because like if someone is really bad in English, we're gonna criticize them for being wrong grammar. We're gonna criticize them for like just saying the word wrong. We're gonna criticize them for we're gonna criticize them for no reason. So um, um, let me just take care of this. So anyway, but here's the thing: the people who sound maarte, the people who sound like social, these are the people who have really good English. You know this. So if someone is if you're not really sure about how to say something, just think of like what would someone who's maarte, like how would they say it? And that's what we call like in the call center school, that's what we call saucy mode. So saucy mode is like just try to pretend to be maarte, just social, or no, what's the word they use, slang, which doesn't really make sense if you're from another English speaking country that's not the Philippines. And then number 4, celebrity mode. So one time we were doing training, and then the guy is like, "Hi, my name is Philip. Uh, Hi, my name is Philip, and I would like to work in a call center because of the benefits." And then like his English is really bad, or it sounded really awkward, and he's like super shy, and then like And then I noticed like the guy is a what do you call that? He's a fan of like rock bands. So like, oh, okay. So now I want you to like, what's your favorite band? And then he says, oh man, I don't remember, but say Nickelback. Nah, that's a bad band. I don't like Nickelback. Um, shit. What's a good rock band? Like if you're watching, if you can type, just type in what's your favorite rock band. Uh, fuck, I can't think of a rock band. Uh, match. Okay, so example would be, well, I guess alternative rock band. Matchbox 20. So and then I ask him like, think of the vocalist of that band, and then just pretend to be that vocalist, and then like introduce yourself as the like, and then like, hi, and then change his name to your name, and then just say it. So he goes like, hi, I'm Philip from Matchbox 20, and I'd like to work to a call center because it's an awesome job. And he sounds a lot better. So like that's the thing. If you're not really sure, just pretend. Just act it out. Just act like your favorite celebrity, and you're going to do well. And then next tip. So number 5, posture, deep breath, and smile. So as for posture, make sure that you're sitting or you're standing straight, like back straight, and then you're not Cuba or something like that. So posture, make sure that your posture is correct. And then take a deep breath before you speak so you can speak loud and clear. So just make sure you inhale and then you talk. Because if you're not inhaling, so like I'm gonna try that. I'm not gonna so keep exhaling. So if I'm just exhaling and I'm not really inhaling, so you notice that the sound of my voice is a little softer. Like even if I make an effort to speak loudly, if I'm not inhaling, it doesn't sound good. But if I inhale, my voice sounds better. It's more controlled, and then you smile before you talk, because when you smile, like this is a video thing, but if I cover this, like if I'm not smiling, my voice sounds like this. But if I'm smiling, it's a lot like this. It's a lot better. So if if you're not smiling, it's like that, like it's slow and it's sad. And if you're smiling, you sound better. So make sure you smile before you talk so you sound better over the phone. And this works for interviews too. So if you're not sure, like just smile first and then you say what you have to say. And then yeah, speaking of not being sure about what to say, instead of saying or just pause and smile and just think of an answer. And then if you really don't know the answer, you just tell them like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not really sure what the answer is. It's the first time I've been asked that question, so I would appreciate it if you give me a few minutes to think about it, or if you give me a moment to think about it, that would be great. Or something like that. Like it doesn't have to be that. Like yeah, sometimes I go like, "Oh wow, that's the first time I've been asked that question. I've never thought about it before. Um, let me think. Let me think about it." So you sound smarter instead of like, the reason why I want to work in a call center is, um, it doesn't sound good. So yeah, so that's the first tip. Well, actually, after the first tip, I gave you like 6 more tips on how to speak better English. Okay, so yeah. Um, so the second tip that people usually ignore, that people usually stop talking to me when I say this, is you look your best. When you apply for work, you look your best, because whether you like it or not, people are gonna judge you, and usually it's based on your appearance, and it's based on how people see you. So if you don't look your best, chances are like just like you watch TV, you tell me like why do people like what's his name, the new Padilla, Daniel Padilla, Kath, James Reed. My name also has a James, but yeah, James Kevin. Anyway, so why do people like that? Because they look good. Why do they look good? Because they're dressed well. And you don't have to look like them. You just have to dress well. Because some people, they dress up like they time traveled, like they're not from 2017. And it doesn't have to be like super fashionable. It doesn't have to be like those fashion bloggers, but it has to look good. It has to look presentable. If you're not presentable, you have no business going to an interview. So, some tips to look your best. So, the first one is like be presentable, like wear the right clothes. So, for guys, no sando. So, I came from a gym, that's why I'm wearing this. So, it should be a collared shirt, um, long sleeves, could be short sleeves. Like long sleeves is like if you're applying for like a higher position, but like short sleeve polo, that's good. Like polo shirt, it's like those t-shirts with a collar, that's good. Um, Stripes are okay. But like solid collars, that's what I wear. And then wear slacks or wear jeans. Just make sure that it looks good, okay? And then you make sure that you get enough sleep, because if you're sleepy during an interview, patay na. You're not gonna make any progress. And then the third one, most important one. So I'm almost about to end. Um, you need to have multiple employment options. That means that you plan to go to different call centers, because if you go to just one, then you're not gonna look your best, because you go there and you talk to them. The way you interact is like your job, your livelihood depends on them saying yes. And like one of my advantages is like the early jobs that I took is related to sales. And in sales, they taught us this thing called the SW4. Like S like South, W like West, the number 4. And it's an acronym, it means something. So the first SW means some will. So that means some people will buy from you. And then the second SW is some won't. That means some people won't buy from you, so they're not gonna buy no matter what you do. And then the third SW is some will, some won't. Oh, third SW is so what. That means that you shouldn't care. Like if people buy, then great. If people don't buy, then that's okay. So that's so what. And then the next SW is someone's waiting. Because if you understand, like some people are gonna buy, some people are not gonna buy, and you shouldn't care because someone else is waiting. Remember the first person, like some will? Because like these people are going to buy, and they're gonna buy from someone if you don't go to them. So, and that doesn't just apply to doesn't just apply to making a sale. That also applies to finding a job, because like if you try to force yourself into one company, you're going to miss out all the other opportunities with other companies, because there's always a good company who will hire you, who will pay you well. But if you don't, but they're not going to be able to process you if you don't go there. And if you've been reading my blog, my favorite way of getting hired in a call center is I just walk in. Or like if I know a friend, may referral fee kasi yun. So like if you want to work for my previous company, I have a friend there. I can refer you. You get like 7,000 bonus referral fee. So just send me a message if you're interested. So the SW4, some will, some won't. So what? Someone's waiting next. So just go to the next person or the next company, the next opportunity. So it works for jobs. It works for sales. It works for love life. So for people na laging na friend zone or laging parang the feelings are not mutual, huwag mo pilit. You just go to someone else because no one's that special. There's like a lot of people, and if you talk to them, if you just keep meeting people, then you're gonna find someone amazing. Oh wow, seven. There's more people now. So pag love life talaga, people pay attention. Ayun no, dumadami. So yeah, pag call center, boring. Maybe I should start just talking about love life, no? What do you think, guys? Thumbs up? Nah, that's like most of you. What the shit? There's a lot of reactions. So yeah, yeah, a lot of people, they go here, they wanna get hired in a call center. Some people, they are hired already, they're asking for tips on how to improve. And then there are some people who just stay around because they want to hear me talk about love life and hugot ng mga, listen to people with hugot and give some love advice and life advice. So if you're that person, yeah, I don't care. You're awesome. Just oh, that's strange. Hindi pinapakita yung mga nagla-like. Like I see people, but I don't see like faces. Just the likes. Anyway, so yeah. And then like every time you go to an opportunity, so this is my last tip. Always think that whether they hire you or not, whether they like you or not, just it's okay because you're only using them for practice. So I guess like if you're trying to sell, like if your friend doesn't buy from you, that's okay. I'm just using you to help me practice. If the company doesn't hire you, oh, that's okay. I'm just using your HR so I can practice. And ayan na, nag-aantay. Love life. If you're like, if you're a guy and the girl is like, I'm sorry, but I only see you as a friend, then, well, it's okay. Well, I was only using you for practice. Biglang dumami yung nakikinig. So yeah, like whatever it is, just use them as practice. Like parang game yan eh. Tapos puro power ups. So like at the end of the game, the people who collect more power ups. So rejections, failures, disappointments are power ups in real life because it makes you stronger, it makes you smarter, it gives you lessons to learn. So when you come back, you're going to be a better person. So wait. I'm supposed to talk about something important. Just make sure that I keep that. So yeah, we're pretty much done. If you have any questions, just throw it in the comments. So I'm gonna stay on for a few more minutes, and then I'll need to start work. So if you don't mind, I'm just gonna check my email. Okay. And by the way, so in case you're new, like it's your first time watching, please visit the website callcentertrainingtips.com. It has hundreds of hours worth of lessons that you can read. Some of them have videos. So, and then just make sure you like this page. If you've listened up to this part, like Just give it a like, share it with your friends, leave a comment, and if you haven't done so already, you can buy my book. If you buy my book, you get a few hours of personal coaching, and you also get to become a member of this private group that I'm taking care of. So I have a group, and I have a Facebook group, and like it's a super secret group that only people who bought my book are included, and we talk about how to use the call center money to get your dream job, or to like get better opportunities after you get hired in the call center, and like how to take care of your money, because money is usually a problem if you're a call center agent. Because one of the things I notice, if people so um, for people who are not familiar with call center work, let me tell you this reason why call center jobs, or being a call center agent, sucks. And one thing that sucks about working in a call center is like your friends, your family, they see you like, oh, Kevin works in a call center, so I'm gonna borrow money from him and I'm not gonna pay him back. So if people know that you work for a call center, akala nila tumatay ka ng pera. So they're gonna borrow money from you, and they're gonna forget about it. They're just oh, malaki naman sweldo niya, hindi ko na yung babayaran. And that's what happens, and that's a true story. Like when people find out you work in a call center, when they borrow money from you, never gonna pay you back. So when you get hired in a call center, don't lend people money. Don't let people borrow money, even if they're your best friend. So yeah. And by the way, for coaching, I only help like 4 people a month, so it's limited slots, and I already have a couple of people already that I'm helping out this month. So yeah. And by the way, if like this is really important. I don't know what time I should be doing these live videos. I don't know what time you're watching. So if you have any suggestion, like what time I should do these live videos, if you want me to do it in the morning, if you want me to do it in the evening, if you want me to do it like 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., or whatever, just leave a comment or send me a message. The team will count like your votes, and that will be the basis of our new schedule. And then, yeah, if you have any questions, leave a comment or send me a message. I read all the messages. Sometimes it's the other people, but like I generally read all of them, and we answer. We give out some tips. Whether you buy the book or not, we're still gonna give you some tips on how to get hired in a call center. And if you do get hired in a call center, pa cheeseburger ka naman, or you can buy the book. Works either way. I can give you my address. Give me a cheeseburger. I'll take it. For cheeseburger, it's either Wendy's or McDo or Burger King. Ayaw yun sa Jollibee. Sawa na ako. Jollibee kasi yung baba ng West. So, yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching, and God bless, and have a great evening or morning, whatever time you're watching this. Bye, guys.